Epstein should rot in hell, so should the men who patronize his operation. And as we say here today, there are over 1,000 sex trafficking victims, and you have not held a single man accountable. Shame on you. If you had any decency, you would resign right after this hearing concludes.
The gentleman has expired.
May I respond?
Yeah, I don't know how you respond. No one can.
I did not ask a question, Ms.
He doesn't
You're
want
allowed
to talk
to.
about
I did
the
not ask a
horrific
question.
crime in California. He does not want to talk about
I did not ask a
crime
question.
in his state.
You can't just
Madam
ad-lib
Attorney
stuff. I did not ask a question.
Those survivors sat in that hearing room wearing white. And when Repsor Pramila Jayapal asked them to raise their hands if the Department of Justice had refused to meet with them, every single one went up. That is the image the history books should record. Not the shouting, not the deflection, not the political theater. The hands. What you're watching is the February 11th, 2026 House Judiciary Committee hearing. 5 hours in which Attorney General Pam Bondi was asked to explain why her department closed investigations into Epstein's clients, withheld documents from Congress, and in at least one case, removed FBI interview records from the public database. She deflected to Merrick Garland. She called questions ridiculous. She told a congressman, "Don't you ever accuse me of a crime." And 9 days later, she was fired. Repres Ted Lieu gave her no.
Thank you, Attorney General Bondi, for being here today. I'm going to show you two photos.
Thank you.
I'm going to show you two photos of former Prince Andrew. Prince Andrew attended various parties with Jeffrey Epstein. Under the law Congress passed, you were allowed to redact photos to protect the victims of Epstein's sex trafficking operation. You redacted the photos of this victim's face because you were following the congressional law. Is that correct?
I'm sorry that we redacted the victim's
Because you were
face?
following the congressional law, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You have now established that please put the photos back up, that we are looking at a sex trafficking victim. Under the Federal Victims Trafficking Protection Act, not only is Jeffrey Epstein guilty, but anyone who patronizes Epstein's sex operation is also guilty of a crime. That's why I find it absolutely despicable that you sought to protect Epstein's clients, like former Prince Andrew. Last July, you closed the case on Epstein's abusers. The July 2025 memo from your Department of Justice stated, quote, "We did not uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties." These two photos, please put the photos back up. These two photos staring you in the face are evidence of a crime and more than enough evidence to predicate an investigation against former Prince Andrew. So I ask you, Attorney General Pam Bondi, why did you shut down this investigation last July, and why have you not prosecuted former Prince Andrew?
Room to maneuver. Here's what he did. The tool Lieu is using here is called a legal admission. He gets Bondi to confirm facts. The redacted face is a victim. The congressional law authorizes victim protection. And then he uses her own confirmation to build the case. She can't walk it back. She's on record. And then he pivots. Why hasn't Prince Andrew been charged? Under the same law she just confirmed applies, patronizing Epstein's operation is a crime. Photos place Andrew at Epstein events. Bondi's DOJ said no grounds to investigate. Those two things cannot both be true at the same time. Lieu makes that contradiction visible, on camera, with the survivors watching from behind her chair. The chamber is silent in a...
Love this.
I want to discuss another man, Donald Trump, who is all over the Epstein files. Like former Prince, here's a video. Like former Prince Andrew, Donald Trump attended various parties with Jeffrey Epstein. I want to know, were there any underage girls at that party or at any party that Trump attended with Jeffrey Epstein?
way that courtrooms get silent when the argument lands. Trump's name appears 38,000 times in the Epstein files. The DOJ's own released materials include 2 witness accusations against him in a 21-page internal document. The FBI conducted at least 4 interviews with a survivor who named Trump. Those files were later removed from the public database. This is documented, confirmed by House Oversight Democrats. And Bondi told Congress there was no evidence. Lieu produced a witness statement from a man who reported a rape allegation to the FBI's National Threat Center, described a suspicious death, and was never interviewed by DOJ. Lieu told Bondi to interview that witness immediately. She fired back with a threat. The witness is still uninterviewed. That is not a
I'm going to put up another document from a witness who called the FBI's National Threat Operations Center, because I believe you just lied under oath. There is ample evidence in the Epstein file.
Don't you ever accuse me of a
I
crime.
believe you just lied under oath, and this is all on videotape. You said there's no evidence of a crime. I'm showing you, here is a witness statement who called into the FBI's Threat Operations Center. He drove Donald Trump around in a limo. He overheard what Donald Trump said to Jeffrey on his cell phone. He was so angry, he was going to stop the limo and hurt Donald Trump. And he met a girl who said she was raped by Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. She later had her head blown off, and officers at the scene said that could not have been suicide. No one at the Department of Justice interviewed this witness. You need to interview this witness immediately.
political complaint. That is a documented investigative failure in one of the most significant federal cases of the last 2 decades. 4 attorneys general, 0 prosecuted clients, more than 1,000 survivors. That ratio is a policy choice, not an accident. Bill Barr didn't do it. Alex Acosta didn't do it. Merrick Garland didn't do it. Pam Bondi promised to, and then didn't do it either, and then got fired, not for that failure, but for a different one. The institution has a consistent result across 4 different people from 2 different parties. At some point, the institution becomes the story. What changed at the February 11th hearing was that Ted Lieu said this out loud, on the record, in front of survivors who were sitting close enough to touch the woman responsible. He named the legal standard. He named the men who met it. He showed the evidence her department never followed up on. And he called for her resignation. 9 days later, she was gone. But not for the right reasons. The subpoena to explain herself under oath, still outstanding. The witness she refused to interview, still uninterviewed. Subscribe, share, and drop a comment below. What would accountability actually look like?